And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly, truly fantastic day today. Welcome back, my people. Since I covered the beginning of this, at the very beginning, when P. Diddy was arrested on these trafficking charges, I said, I guess I need to cover the conclusion. And that is P. Diddy Combs, Sean Ain't No Party Like a Diddy Party Combs, was found not guilty on 3 out of the 5 charges, including the racketeering charge. And I think how I feel about this is I have no problem with it. I'm not saying I have no problem with the despicable things he's done, but with the verdict, the whole racketeering thing is a charge that they use to bring down the mafia. And so I felt like in an attempt to throw so many charges at him that something has to stick, this is kind of what they did, and it backfired. You know, they, according to the jury, they failed to prove that this is a criminal enterprise. And when you think about the mafia, I mean, you're talking about criminals who get together for the sake of money and power, and you know that you are dealing with all criminals in this organization, where this seems to be a despicable person who used his friends to do some things that were illegal, do some things that were immoral, but this was definitely, in my eyes, not a criminal enterprise. So the fact that he was found not guilty on 3 out of the 5 charges is no surprise. But at any rate, we're gonna check out this article, and this is coming from NBC News. Says Sean Diddy Combs found not guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking, but convicted of lesser charges. The judge denied bail for the Bad Boy Records founder, saying it would be impossible for Combs to prove he does not pose a danger. Says Sean Diddy Combs, the one-time global hip-hop titan whose federal trial unveiled harrowing testimony accusing him of sexual abuse against women and forced drug days freak-offs, was acquitted Wednesday of racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking, but found guilty of lesser charges. The jury's verdict, delivered on the 3rd day of deliberations, declared Combs, 55, not guilty of 1 count of racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, but guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Later Wednesday, U.S. District Judge Aaron Subramanian denied Combs' bail request, saying it would be impossible for him to prove he does not pose a danger. The verdict is seen as a win for Combs and his defense team, which did not call a single witness during the 7-week trial. After it was read, his family stood in the background clapping and cheering. Combs fell to his knees in prayer. As he left the courtroom, he told his family, "Thank you, love you." Tenny Garagos, one of Combs' attorneys, broke out in tears. His lead attorney, Mayor Agnifilo, made a fist in triumph as the defense team hugged one another and hugged his family. It's a great victory for Sean Combs, Agnifilo told reporters outside the courthouse. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all they had. Agnifilo had asked Subramanian to release Combs from federal detention, where he has been for nearly a year. He also asked for Combs to be released on conditions that his home in Miami, released on conditions to his home in Miami, offering a $1 million bond. Combs has been a model prisoner who is in the process of working on himself and has no plans to flee, Agnifilo said. In his denial, Subramanian cited Combs' attorney's own words. We own the domestic violence, and said prosecutors had presented evidence that Combs had engaged in years of lifelong violence. He continues to be a danger to others, Subramanian said. Subramanian set a sentencing date of October 3rd. Prosecutors are seeking between 4 and 5 years behind bars, the judge said. So I think, I can't remember how many years he could possibly get for each of the 2 counts that he was convicted in, but I'm sure you guys have probably heard this from other content creators by now, and anyone who's familiar with the legal system at all understands that when you get multiple charges like this, they can run the sentencing concurrently or consecutively. But at the end of the day, Sean ain't no party like a Diddy party. Combs avoided life in prison. So like I said, I have no problem with the verdict because I believe he was sitting on trial for the wrong charges. And I believe that if you're gonna have a justice system, then it needs to adhere to what the justice system is supposed to be. In other words, I don't believe that you should be able to trump up charges simply so that you could try to make something stick for a charge that is not on the docket, so to speak. You know, is kind of equivalent to planting evidence to try to get someone. Even if you know this person is guilty, it's like you can't plant evidence. Like at that point, it should be the case should get thrown out if it comes out that someone has planted evidence. So I kind of see this as a similar thing. Obviously, it's not apples to apples, but I see this as a similar thing that they try to put all of these charges. They try to use a charge that is used to take down the mafia to make sure that something sticks. And so him being found not guilty on 3 out of the 5 charges, I don't have a problem with that. Now, me saying I don't have a problem with that is not me saying I don't think what we saw on the video was despicable with him and Cassie. But I do have to say this as well. Cassie has to take responsibility for her own decisions. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to say, oh, well, she was young and she was impressionable and, you know, she was under the influence of someone with power, well, then I think what needs to happen, if this is your stance, if this is what you believe, then what needs to happen is they need to go back to the drawing board and redetermine at what age you become a legal adult. Because as a legal adult, you are supposed to be responsible for your own decisions. And I'm not saying she should have ever received the treatment from Diddy that she received, but I'm saying she obviously stuck around for a reason, and that is because she was, you know, getting help with her career. She was benefiting from the money. She was benefiting from the power that P. Diddy had. And to me, that is no excuse to continue to be with a despicable person just because you benefit. If you are going to make that choice, then to me, you suffer the consequences of that choice. So for people who want to say, hey, she was young and impressionable, she was an adult. Now, if, like I said, if this is going to be the argument, then we need to go back to the drawing board and decide at what age you are an adult. At what age you are a legal adult responsible for your decisions. And I think this speaks to a bigger problem in society, and that is people think that the pursuit of money, the pursuit of material things, the pursuit of your dreams justifies any actions that you may take. This is where we are in society. This is why people are okay with scammers. This is why people are okay with LeBron James. Yeah, I know, fanboys, you were waiting on it. Here you go. This is why people are okay with LeBron James, because people accept that however you gain your success is okay. Well, it is not. And you're going to have to suffer the consequences for those decisions, no matter who you are. So if you're a young person and you decide that because someone can help you with your career and give you access to things that you're willing to put up with being in an abusive relationship, well, you decided to trade your health and safety for those material things. This is the decision you made. So what needs to happen is society as a whole needs to stop putting so much emphasis on attaining these kind of things. And more importantly, society has to also hold accountable the people who make those type of decisions. I'm not saying Cassie should be in jail, but I'm just saying, you know, all the things that you went through, that's pretty much the deal that you made to try to get a career. When the reality of it is once you determine that this person who's supposedly is supposed to help you with your career, who's supposedly supposed to give you access, once you determine that this person is a piece of crap, then you may have to try to find another route. And I know people say, hey, man, that's a 1 in a million chance. Well, that still doesn't relieve you of the consequences of your actions if you decide to stay in that situation to try to gain some kind of benefit from it. Again, there's just as much as people like P. Diddy are wrong with society, I would argue the flip side of that coin is equally responsible for that kind of thing. Just as much as people in power who abuse that power are a detriment to society, what's also a detriment to society is people who are willing to do anything to get that power, because essentially we're talking about one and the same kind of person. They are one and the same kind of person. The people who tolerate the abuse to get to where they want to get are usually the people who turn around and abuse other people once they get into the position of power. And again, at the end of the day, what you have is people not wanting to accept the responsibility for their actions, and people who want to be the victim and say, oh, well, you know, I was young and this person took advantage. No, you made a decision. Again, same thing. This is the same thing with, because we talk about LeBron James on this channel, this is the same thing with LeBron James. As LeBron James made decisions that are coming back to bite him now. LeBron James made the decision to take all these shortcuts in pursuit of trying to be the GOAT and in pursuit of trying to win championships. He made all of these decisions that are coming back to bite him. And that is People don't respect it. And now he's crying about it, saying, hey, what's up with this ring culture? That's weird. Why? And he's basically crying because people hold it against him. Now he's trying to act like he's the victim of unfair judgment. No, you made the decisions. You have to suffer the consequences. And the consequences can be varying things. Sometimes it's actual punishment. Sometimes it's just how people look at you. Sometimes it's just the fact that people aren't going to respect you. But you have to accept that for your the choices you made. So, like I said, with the whole Diddy trial thing, Diddy is a trash person. I don't think there's anyone who could deny that. But what I'm also saying is Cassie made a choice to stay with a trash person to try to gain some benefit on it. And you can't be excused for that choice to say, people can't excuse that choice by saying, by almost making it seem that, what do you expect? He was paying for her apartment. He was doing this for her. If she would have broke up, she would have lost all these things. Well, guess what? You lose all these things, but you keep your self-respect. You lose all of these things, but you keep your self-respect and you find another way. In worst case scenario, hey, maybe you find out that this is not the industry for you. But anyway, I guess we will see what happens on October 3rd, people. We will see what happens when Diddy gets sentenced. We will see if the judge decides to take matter in his own hands and go above and beyond what the sentencing is supposed to be. We'll see if his sentences get ran concurrently or consecutively. And, again, on this channel, it's all about the cautionary tales. Diddy and LeBron James, same person, same mentality. And that is people who were chasing the fame, people who wanted the money, power, and fame. And you can see the difference. LeBron James likes the spotlight. This is how you normally can tell. And I'm going to wrap this video up here in a second. But this is how you normally can tell is people who love the attention. LeBron James loves attention. P. Diddy loves attention. But the people who are the most talented, the people who do things that the world remembers for decades to come, like a Michael Jordan, like a Michael Jackson, a lot of times those people are they're not worried about the attention. They don't really like the attention that comes from it, but they understand that you can't have it without the attention, but the attention is not the thing that drives them. They're simply passionate about what they do. In the case of Michael Jordan, he loved the game of basketball. You can hear how he talks about the game of basketball, that he loves it. With Michael Jackson, he loved music. If you've ever seen any kind of interviews or even just see him perform, you can see how he performs, that this guy loves music. And again, this kind of goes back to the message I always say. For the younger generation, do not chase greatness. Do not chase the limelight. Do not chase fame. But simply chase being the best that you can possibly be at whatever it is you choose to do. Keep that your focus, because that will lead you to all the other things. But if you get caught up into wanting the attention, then you're going to find yourself in a bad spot. You're going to find yourself like P. Diddy behind bars somewhere, or like LeBron James begging for your respect. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of the Diddy verdict? Do you think he should have been found guilty? Do you think Cassie was completely a victim? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.